Hello, this is Crazy Horse. Well, this all started for me over 6 weeks ago. The house arrest, the lockdown. We were still going out. My son, my 3-year-old son Gio, still needs to get out of the house. All his favorite parks are closed. The beaches are closed. So we took him to Target to walk around. And it's an eerie sight. All the freeways are empty in LA. Something I thought I'd never see. And there wasn't many places to go. So we went to Target. This is before the masks were required. And, I saw a strange thing going back to early April now. All these people were out. Nobody was sick. There was no police cars going anywhere, no ambulances, no sirens. And nobody looked too worried. Everybody looked a little bit afraid, but nobody looked like, they were sick. Nobody appeared sick, and nobody appeared too worried. Nobody appeared like they had sick people at home, like they had children that were sick and dying, and they were at Target looking for something, or they had elderly parents at home. It didn't look like that. Everybody just seemed bored and slightly alarmed and concerned that they couldn't go out anywhere, and they were just kind of roaming around the halls of Target. And so I went home and I looked up online and on YouTube, and I looked, where's all the sick people? So I found this thread, Empty Hospitals, and I followed it, and I watched all these videos people were posting on YouTube and on Facebook about their hospitals, their local hospitals all over the world being empty, and the testing centers and the triage tents all empty. So I thought, well, it's got to be sick people at the hospital. So I drove down to my local hospitals here in LA, in the Valley, in Encino and Tarzana. And I drove by and I videotaped it. And this was around on April 6th. And the hospitals were empty. They were deserted, vacant. There were no emergency medical workers around. There was a tent set up, I guess, for all the influx of COVID cases they were expecting to have, and it was empty. There wasn't a single person in there. There wasn't a doctor or anybody near there. The ambulances were parked. All the EMT trucks were parked. It was completely dead, a ghost town. All the hospitals around here are. So I videotaped it, and I loaded it up on YouTube on my page. And I can't show that to you because it was taken down. The YouTube didn't notify me. They just took it down. So it's not there. I mean, the original videos are there. Let me show you. This is the raw footage, which I didn't post. But then I put together a video, a post, and posted that on YouTube, and they took it down. Didn't even tell me. Was never notified. And I haven't gone to check where all the other empty hospital videos are, if they've all been taken down, but I imagine some of them have been. So, this is supposed to be a global pandemic. Where are all the sick people? And not to minimize the people who have gotten sick and are actually sick or have died due to complications from COVID, but, in the first quarter of this year, there's probably been more deaths from flu, or there has been more deaths from seasonal flu than there is from this virus. It may kill sick or elderly people who are going to be killed anyway if they got the flu. I'm not denying that, but the point is, and I think everybody feels the same way I feel. Where are all the sick people? Why are we locked down? Why are we in the house if everybody is fine? Why are we losing our businesses? Why are we losing our jobs? Why are people, maybe millions of people, going to lose their homes when they can't pay their mortgages? Nobody's sick. Look around. Look online. Look. If you ignore the news, if you ignore what the government's telling you, you look around, you don't see any sick people. And we think, oh, well, nobody around us is sick. Clearly the government and the news have to be telling us the truth. Anyway, I went home that day 6 weeks ago, and I took my video and I edited it and I posted it, and I got like 1,000 views, and it got taken down. So I drove by the hospitals again this week. They're still empty. They look exactly the same 6 weeks later. So all these people supposedly have died. All these people have gone to the hospital and been sick. I can't find any evidence around me that that's actually happened. And, I imagine if you go look, you can't find it either. So, this lockdown, I can't tell you what it is. I don't know why it is. But this virus is nothing to be feared. And the lockdown, the economic crisis that this is creating is going to be far worse than any virus. And I think more people are going to die from complications, from not being in their hospitals, not getting their procedures done. Um, I hate to point out the obvious, but outside of the TV and the internet, nothing's happening. All the 5G towers have gone up around here in LA. There's one on the 405 not far from my house here. And, my phone service and my cable service, my internet, everything was out for an entire day. Next day it was up and 5G was on. So I don't know what that is, but they definitely launched 5G during all of this. So, I don't understand why we still listen to this guy, Dr. Fauci, who gave us these predictions that 2 million people were going to be killed by this virus. And everybody has said those models were flawed, everything was wrong, but we're still listening to this guy. And the governors and the mayors are all still listening to this guy tell him you should be keeping everybody locked down. Social distancing, all this stuff. It's a joke. Dr. Fauci has some kind of checkered past, involved with the Democratic Party, with the Clinton Foundation. He was involved, if you believe the articles, which I don't know if they're true or not, he was involved in setting up the weapons work at this bioweapons lab in Wuhan. He was the one in charge of it, and now he's the one in charge of telling us how to fix it. I don't know why Trump hasn't fired this guy. I don't get it. There's a clear conflict of interest there. He's also a patent holder for these treatments for HIV, and he's trying to develop this vaccine with Bill Gates and with these other pharma companies, and he'll be a patent holder on that. So why is a guy that stands to make millions and billions of dollars on these treatments the person we're supposed to believe telling us what we should do, and that we should get tested and we should get mandated vaccines? Why are we believing the guy that's supposed to make money off of that? I don't know what it is, but I'm starting to think most people are kind of getting used to it. Do you believe in this pandemic? Are you one of the people who want Big Brother telling you what to do? Is freedom optional for you? Is it too much for you to handle? Do you really want the government to infantilize you and tell you what you can and can't do? California's released information now that we can go out and watch the sunset. But that's crazy. We don't need people telling us we can and can't do that. We now have this 5-phase plan to open up California, and we're only in phase 2. It's going to take months to get things back to normal. Why? No one's sick. The news media sees it, Big Pharma sees it, the military-industrial complex sees it. We're all too willing to go along with this stuff. We're complicit. We're willing participants. They see it. They see how easily they can take advantage of us, that they can require us to pay these fees, to pay these fines, to get mandatory vaccines. They're loving it. They're loving that they can control you with so little effort. Are you okay with that? They can drain you of all your cash, take away your job, take away your business, tell you where you can go, what you have to wear, a mask or whatever. And you're willing to let them do that. We're not their slaves. We're free. We have constitutional rights to do as we please. These unelected officials, these health officials, have no right to tell us what we can and cannot do. But we're too easily swayed. We go along with it too easily, right? That's why there's been 2 world wars and cold wars and hot wars for the last 100 years. Because we go along with whatever the government tells us we need to do. And like good patriots, we rush out and do what they tell us we're supposed to do. but we got to start questioning this stuff. So I don't know how this is supposed to work in a democracy when, we're the majority of people, it seems like, are willing participants to this top-down control, to government control, to experts telling us how to think, how to live. So what are we supposed to do in a democracy or a representative republic like we have when the majority of the people go along with this stuff, believe in the government, follow what orders, follow what they're told to do? They don't want responsibility for their own lives or the lives of their children. They are children, and they're willingly led to nap time, to told what to do, when to go to the bathroom. How are we going to fight that if we're a minority of people who stand up and think, when the majority is just sheep going along? We're in a democracy. Everyone's going to vote to keep giving more power to the government, more money to the government. I don't know. I guess we just have to get used to it. This is the way it's going to be. It's the tyranny of the majority. And if you're a thinking person, if you question it, you're in the minority. You're going to be living in this nanny state with taxpayer-funded bailouts for the giant corporations and for the government and for the local governments and the state governments who can't balance their budgets and spend like crazy. And they're going to take our money and pay for it. I read an article that the bailout's going to cost every person in the U.S. $18,000, and then you get back $1,200 in your stimulus check, and you're supposed to be grateful for this multi-trillion-dollar bailout of governments and huge corporations. I don't get it. You pay $18,000, get back $1,200. You feel like you're getting free money. You're getting screwed. You're giving it to the entrenched government workers. You're giving it to these gigantic corporations, and they give you back a little pat on the head, $1,200. There you go. And if you're in California, they tell you can't go out to a restaurant yet. You can't go to the beach yet. I mean, this is socialism, verging on dictatorship. All the manufacturing jobs have left the state. The last holdout is Tesla. Elon Musk tweeted today that he's done. He's had it with California. The county he's in won't let him open up his factory. The Tesla Gigafactory in China is already up and running. I saw him yesterday. He said he had 7,000 people in that factory. Not one person died. Not one person died from coronavirus, and they're back up and running. But he can't get back up and running in Alameda County in California because the Democrats are running everything. And they're trying to keep the economy from recovering. Like some kind of feudal kingdom. They want to keep us locked down and tell us what to do because they want to get Trump out of office. And they think the way to do it is to destroy the economy. Take away your jobs, take away your homes. They can't win the November election. They got nobody to put up, which is unbelievable. But they don't think they can beat Trump, so they're trying to now stall the election or destroy it or destroy the economy so that they can get on CNN and convince people, start spinning it that the economy's destroyed and people died because of Trump, which is patently ridiculous. When millions of people start getting kicked out of their homes and the local sheriffs are showing up to throw them out because the banks are foreclosing on them because they haven't paid their mortgages, we're going to have another housing crisis just like in 2008. And then, they're going to start spinning it, that it's the fault of Trump. It's the fault of the administration. It's bad enough that we're not starving, but we're losing our personal sovereignty, our freedom, our ability to make our own decisions. In the rest of the world, the United Nations is now stating that over 260 million people could be facing starvation this year, which is double last year. Because of this lockdown, because of the global economic shutdown. It's stupidity. It's unnecessary. CNN and the Associated Press have been pushing this pandemic narrative, and all the world's news agencies take their lead from the AP, from the Associated Press, from CNN. The Democratic Party in Congress and in the state houses and the state governor mansions have been pushing this idea to wreck the economy in an attempt to get rid of Trump. period. That's it. Bring about some kind of coup or a November surprise in the election, which they can't win. They have no candidate. And they've created the worst global depression since 1929. And they've opened the door to socialism in America, just like in the last Great Depression with the Roosevelt's New Deal, where they put a lot of people onto the dole and created a lot of social programs that we're still stuck with, that probably people could live without if they just had jobs. I think our very freedom is at stake here, as much or more so when some Boston tea shippers decided to dress up like Native Americans and dump their tea in Boston Harbor. I think we need to stand up for ourselves. I think we need to get in touch with the people who make the decisions in our state capitals, in our cities, and tell them we're not going to take it anymore. Throw them out of office. Create a recall ballot. Limit their powers. Go back to work. Go out to a restaurant. Start living your life. Start breathing some life into this economy before it's completely dead. And be ready for next time. Next time this comes down the pike and we have another crisis, another war crisis, another virus crisis, be ready. Be on guard. Don't let them put us in this box again. Don't accept it for any reason. This is Crazy Horse. Thank you.